All right, surely second time is the charm. Hello, everybody, and welcome to another ReZero reaction. We are here, and I will say, since we are here, I didn't know how I actually was going to properly start this. The second time I did this, right? This is why I said that. Mainly because I wasn't sure if daylight savings would affect the time that this episode was going to come out. For all I know, it still could. I mean, this is the second time. If this doesn't get uploaded, then I mean, I'm gonna have to say third time at like 11. I hope it's not 11 because man, I don't want to wait another hour just to do the whole reaction and do this intro again. But okay, welcome to yet another Rizzo reaction, just like I said. But you might be confused because I pointed out the time there, and I mean, it's natural to expect that in some ways. I mean, daylight savings did happen, like I mentioned, but it's odd that I would bring that up if we're going to be watching a new episode. Thing is, I started this early. This recording has been started early. There's like still 7 minutes until the episode probably releases. Because, in all honesty, I actually want to talk about it for a minute before we even get into it, essentially. This week's episode is not what I thought it was. The episode we're going to get next week is what I thought we were getting this week. You could kind of tell by what I was saying constantly throughout the past few reactions of episode 7. I know what's going to happen. Episode 7, all this. It's not episode 7, it's episode 6. Teresa Van Estrella is this episode, which is kind of shocking to me. I really assumed they were going to save it for the end. That's where it is in Arc 5. Like, out of all the battles in Arc 5, it's the final one in there. I kind of figured they were going to just wait till the end for this, but they didn't. And that's kind of shocking. So, with that said, the episode I'm most excited for is here. Like, I'm going to reveal it for anybody who also might watch the main channel and stuff like that. I'm going to let you in on a little secret. The get intos that I like to do, I enjoy doing them. I love the idea of people getting into a series because of stuff I suggested with it and everything like that, right? And I think the older ones are a little bit rough around the edges, and I definitely want to try and redo them to essentially have them be a better method to bridging somebody over to, enjoying a series, whatever it may be, right? I think the Fist of the North Star one was like a step in the right direction of that sort of thing, but wasn't perfect. And then I did the DMC one, and I'm like, you know what? This is good. This is exactly where I want to be with it, right? So I think we want to slowly make our way over to that. But with that said, there's the older ones to the get intos, and one of the big ones is ReZero. A lot of people ended up finding out about my channel from, I would say, one of three videos, right? It was the get into, the Arc 5 review, and then the one that had like the most views, the Arc 6 review, right? Now, excitingly, we have an Arc 6 trailer coming out next week. I get the feeling that they're holding off next week's episode for next week, not just because, oh yeah, like, there might be some things that fit here. We still have to have a VA reveal, right? Like, there's still a VA who still has to be revealed next week. Um, like, for a fact, this isn't me doing that whole coping thing I was doing with the Capella stuff. There literally has to be a VA reveal next week, or else it makes no sense, right? So that's going to be exciting. But on top of that, because there's an Arc 6 trailer, and due to some things that Arc 6 involves, I think it kind of makes sense that literally everything in that episode, everything is being saved for then, right? It kind of makes sense, right? Obviously, I'm not going to go into details. I'm going to avoid that because, it's obviously spoilers, but like by the time that that trailer comes out, it'll be like the day or two after the actual episode. So it's not the absolute worst. I think it's the day or two after the episode, honestly. I could be wrong on that. It might be uh, earlier than that. I'm not entirely sure. I might have to double check that. I could. But regardless of that, my favorite moment of all this shit is here, right? It is this episode that we are going to watch today. This episode is why I want to redo that get into, because I want to talk about what I originally talked about with the get into with episode 15 from season 1, right? Or arc 3, right? Whatever we want to say. And then I want to talk about this. I think I'm going to wait a year, right? I'm going to do similar stuff to what a lot of different sites and socials do with ReZero, where, you wait a while before you talk about it just for the sake of avoiding spoilers for people. I think I'm going to wait a year just in case, right? Or something like that. But absolutely, this episode and specifically, the novel version and all that sort of stuff is something I absolutely want to talk about here, right? With a remixed sort of get into, because that's what it is. It's going to be like a remix get into sort of thing. So absolutely want to wait for that. I'm hoping that this episode is just 30 minutes, skipped intro, skipped outro, 30 minutes of just the whole thing, because this is a long fucking chapter normally, right? This is one of the longest chapters in the series. That is not a joke. It was in the top 5 prior to arc 7, right? And I don't know what it's been like since, because arc 7 to arc 9, there was some long chapters in there, but this is still a really fucking long chapter. This took me 2 hours to finish. I don't have a tissue box, which is unfortunate because I needed one when I read the chapter, and I feel like I'm going to need one now. I'm going to have to use my hands or my sweater or something. Yeah. This is going to be quite the fucking episode. Even just to show it off, because I even prepared it ahead of time. This is what the volume cover of this specific volume looked like. It is probably, I can't even say probably, in my opinion, it is just the best volume cover we've gotten. There's like the end of arc 8, which has a really good one, and then there's this. This is so fucking beautiful. I love this volume cover so much. It's sadly not on the shelf right now because my brother's currently reading the volume. Though I don't know if he'll end up finishing it because there's only 2 weeks left of this. But I didn't put it back here because he's probably going to still be reading it this week. I just kept it as is, Still, very excited. Obviously, I'm still excited for next week's episode and the trailer and all this, but this week's episode is really fucking important to me. I love this one so much. I have been anticipating this since Arc 5 was like announced, right? Since this season was announced, I have been anticipating seeing this animated. I am so glad to see that Teresia's older outfit and older design and all this sort of stuff is in there. This is going to be great. I hope that this goes crazy in terms of, how people essentially, I almost want to say like receive it and all that sort of shit, right? I hope that people enjoy this a fuck ton, and I'm just gonna wait, right? I'm gonna wait a few minutes because I did this last time, like the last time I tried to record it. We're gonna wait a few minutes and see if the episode pops up here because they're not always on the dot. YouTube's like that as well, right? Like you upload a video on YouTube, it isn't immediately on the dot. They like wait a minute or two. Especially for something like this, it might be a minute, so I'm just gonna wait, right? Just give it a good old minute. Windows 11, unfortunately, doesn't actually give me a clock, so I can't fully know. Technically, that would be that, but we have it for, stopwatch purposes, so let's just wait it out. I am very excited, though. Today's episode is a very big deal. Cannot fucking wait. I'm still hitting refresh just in case, right? Playing it cautiously. We're just checking, and then well, I already have like a thumbnail pretty much ready. Like not necessarily ready. I didn't actually take a picture of myself or anything yet, because I usually do that from the actual reaction. I don't like to make one up. But I already have like the image ready because I always bookmark when they show the preview images. Bookmark that shit immediately, got an image ready. I'm ready to have that thumbnail up because dude, this is like the best episode in the whole ass thing. Honestly, I'm almost debating if I just want to like clip together this with the episode in case I'm off by an hour, right? But I think we just record it again if that's the case. Which, I mean, technically speaking, if that's the case, you wouldn't really know, right? It would just be, yeah, here's the reaction, and we go right into it. But, I am going to, just while we have time, I'm going to double check something very quickly. And we will make sure that we are all good. Because there's a chance. Oh, there it is. It's here. No, it's here. It's here. Holy shit. Okay. It took like 2 minutes, but it's here. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, let's load this up. I'm gonna pause it as soon as it starts. There we go. Okay, I've been so excited for it's not 30 minutes. That's unfortunate. I hope they skip the intro and outro though. 1, 2. We up? Are we up? Let me double check. We're up. All right. I am so fucking excited. My heart is like racing right now. All right. The best episode, or probably what will be the best episode in the whole fucking season. Here we fucking go. 3, 2, 1, let's go. Oh, they're starting with her narration. I'm ready to cry already. Fuck. Hi, Teresia. Absolutely has the best backstory in the series. There is nobody who competes, in my opinion. And that's tough to say because there's a lot of fantastic backstories in the series, but I love this one so much. I heard that Carol got excluded from this, which is all right, but that line, ooh, that line's gonna kill me, dude. I'm already struggling with it. Oh, it already looks beautiful, man. I'm so fucking happy. We're finally here. I was so worried that we would potentially not reach this point for a few more years, and I'm so glad we're here. And then, yep. And I guess we're gonna see that, which is gonna be interesting. Oh, oh, and she even has an older. Oh, that's perfect. Ah, it looks so good. Listen, last episode had fucking crazy animation by this, same man who did the beautiful stuff for One Piece and Jujutsu, which I think earlier on did look like not for ReZero. I mean, earlier on in those series did look a little hard to follow, but as it went on, it was much better. And also, yeah, there it is. There it is. And now, because he's crippled, he's no longer the larger threat here. Yep. You gotta really imagine, like, this is fucked up for Heinkel. He is seeing his dead mother, like, walk up to him, just ready to kill. God, it's so good. I love, I mean, it's a common thing, but I love that to make her seem dead, no light in the eyes. Oh, and that here he comes. Here he fucking comes. So I actually said it on my original recording where I thought the episode was going to release because of, daylight savings, like I said. I originally thought that what they were going to do was episode 6 was going to have what we're going to have next week, and then have this part, and then it would be a cliffhanger into the backstory for episode 7. Clearly, it's all just going to be here. Oh, dude, the pressure on that. Oh, that's good. And also should be noted, he can take it out, which means she's that much of a threat. I mean, it makes sense. It's Teresia, but that pretty much means, Elsa, Regulus, ain't shit for the dragon sword. Her, absolutely. And of course, Puck with the Beast of End thing in Arc 4, obviously also included in terms of meaning something. And oh, that's good. Oh no, never mind. Down. It even shows the flashback in the slash. That's fucking incredible. There she goes. And the light's back in her eyes. Yep, and of course she's gonna be the narrator of her chapter. I mean, I figured as much. Who else is gonna narrate it, right? Here we go. I really hope this episode does well for a lot of people. I hope this is a real hard hitter. Yep, this is her obtaining it. Yep. I like that we get to see all these designs here too and everything. That's great. Okay, for a second I thought that was like Jotaro's Sphere. Yep, there it is. Oh, dude, her face there. Hmm. I love this backstory just because of how, yeah, like it is so depressing for the first good half of it. There it is, the Demi-Human War. Hopefully we get an OVA on that because that is like one of the best stories they tell with that shit. I do still like EX1 more, but that shit is fantastic. And she doesn't want to fight and everything. I do also really love that aspect of her character. She doesn't want to like fight or anything like that, and she receives the perfect thing for fighting, right? The literal like you are just perfect with this sword and all this sort of shit, and it's like ah. Also, for clarification on any anime onlys, Reinhard's protections are exclusive to him. It's just the swords ain't one that's shared around. This music too. Oh, it's good. Yep. Way too terrified of that, and then dude, the lighting on her. Oh, and oh, that's good. That's so good. Yep. That's the especially hard hitting part is like I remember with the novel they go down the list and just mention each of them dying and it's like holy shit, right? And there's the flower. And there it goes. Yep. Oh, that's great. Oh, they are. I mean, I guess the EX novels go into this more, but they are zipping through this fast, which is all right. This isn't the big part, but I have my timer going, right? Yep. Oh my god, we still have. Ah, dude. I got that, like, feeling in between. I mentioned it before, but like in between the nose and the eyes. And it's like, I know when we get to the end of this, it's gonna hurt. I know exactly what scene's gonna hurt me. There's Heinkel. And then there's Heinkel's wife. And there's the difference in the voice. Ah, that's great. Dude, she looks so good there. I know people say that, like, oh, her appearance doesn't, like, makes it look like she hasn't aged that much and everything, but it's like, I think it's fine. The way they look here and everything. It just shows Wilhelm's aged more. And that happens sometimes. Ah, now, unfortunately, I think they did explain what happens very briefly, but there's a chance they might change it up here a bit. Oh, there's no next time, Teresa. I'm so sorry. Well, I mean, I guess there technically is, but we'll get to that. And here it comes. Been a while since we've seen you, pal. I will say she does look older here than how Otsuka drew her. So they did actually do a good job at like aging her up a bit in terms of appearance. I do like that. That gives you the indication. Honestly, I like that they did that as an effect originally because that gives you the indication for what happened. Here she comes. Here she comes. Because that's not enough to kill Teresia, but somebody who might distract her a little bit is. Oh my god, she looks great with the updated design. She's like actually creepy to look at. Oh. Oh yeah, and then of course, yeah, can't use the dragon sword because oh. That has some interesting implications because I think a lot of us fought differently of what happened there. Fuck, here we go. I'm just gonna let it happen if it happens. Hey, guess what? It's already happening. Oh man. Oh fuck, you know, this sweater is really hot right now. Man, it's making my eyes all itchy. Oh, that's real unfortunate. Oh fuck. Ah, man, it's so hot out in Canada in March while there's still snow outside. It's really fucking warm. Oh, my eyes. Oh, that's good. Oh, they actually are playing the outro. Okay. That was well done. That was well fucking done. Oh my god, there's so much left. Oh, because they have to do that. Right, they have to do the last scene. Right. I'm shocked they're even playing the outro, though. I figured they would have just played out the whole thing. That was really good, though. I like that a lot. It did not surprisingly get me. Again, not shocked at all. That was fantastic. I like that a lot. In some ways, I almost do want to see more of the flashback stuff, but to be fair, I think there's potential that they are planning around the idea that if they do the EX novels, it'll be in there. Because to let people know, if they do the EX novels as an OVA, it'll be in there. You will get an extended flashback of both Wilhelm and Teresia's side, and it'll be massive in terms of that stuff. I will say, Carol being there, or Carol not being there, does actually take out a few scenes that she has. Like specifically Teresia, like a few scenes Teresia has, which is a little unfortunate. If anybody needs to know who she is, essentially attendant slash bodyguard to Teresia, right? Like very specific one. She's very heavily involved with the EX novel stuff. all that. Mm. I'll take a drink. Oh, this music. But this ain't the real sting of the whole scene because that's coming up in a second. Oh. Also, amazing voice acting here. This is great. Here we go. And then he puts all the ashes in there. I love that part especially. Mm. Hits him with that in the name. Oof. I love that it's complete, like, Heinkel freaks out. No cool them, no nothing like that. Wilhelm keeps it formal, but you can feel the same sort of just resentment with that shit. It's so good. Ooh, excuse me. Just the dono on the name is like enough to just. There we go. Just wanted to let it fade. Yeah, just that is enough to really set it in. Oh, all right. That was great. That was really damn good. I enjoyed that a whole ton. Again, my like the only thing I would almost say is just like, oh man, I wish we could have gotten more of the flashback. But again, if we get an OVA of the EX novels, we just get that, right? We literally just get that. I'd be cool with that, right? I would almost hope it would be a multi-part OVA, but I don't think that would happen. It would just be really cool if it did, but that does require a lot of work. So maybe not, right? That said, I mean, 2 hours could cover a whole lot. I don't think like everything has to be, put in there. I think some scenes can be kind of pushed along just because we already know about some of them, right? Like the scene of the two of them. Well, actually, I guess the scene of them, kind of kissing for the first time and everything would be something you would want to play out in full for that sort of thing. But you know what I mean? The general sort of thing of there's a lot you could put in. Actually, no, it's 3 volumes, isn't it? Because yeah, EX6 is going to be the finale to it. So shit, it's actually longer than. I guess it would be a two-parter then. It would be an absolutely two-parter OVA sort of thing. That would be interesting. Still, that was fantastic. I really loved what that episode had to offer. I had a lot of expectations going in, and I would gladly say they were met, right? Because if you were to ask me, like, oh, did this episode go down the exact way you imagined it when you read it? I can't really say that because to interpret something like this is kind of weird because you can imagine it in all sorts of different ways, right? There's tons of Arc 6 scenes that I'm imagining in different ways that it's like they might not be adapted in the way that I'm like thinking they will be, right? Fucking at one point, prior to when I read Arc 6, because I read like ahead at one point just to see, like, okay, let me see what Arc 6 involves. I just wanted to get interested, right? I wanted to see like the incentive for reading. So I just did that randomly of just reading a chapter or two ahead. For some reason, in Arc 6, I thought they were in a forest at one point with one of the fights, right? I'm not going to go into the details, obviously, but one of the fights, I thought they were in a forest. And I was so fucking confused because I'm like, what the fuck? What do you mean forest? Right? Like, I thought this arc didn't involve something like that, but okay, right? And it doesn't. There was never anything that implied a forest, but somehow the way I perceived the text kind of almost created that like image in my mind. Don't know how, but it happened, right? And again, same logic here of that sort of thing can be created in my head because yeah, I can perceive this however I feel, but then we get the actual scene and it's different, right? The Pandora thing that happened there, where, you know, Teresa like fell down shortly after, right? That didn't seem like what it was originally because originally it felt like, oh yeah, that was the white whale going in, chomp, whatever the fuck, right? That still could obviously be the very clear implication, but it's just the general thing of like, that almost gives it a different feel to the scene, right? That gives it a different, like I said, interpretation of it. I hit the mic. Sorry about that. I now know that that actually does sound because I heard it on the last episode when I was checking through. Sorry about that. But still, so it's hard to say that a scene would be exactly how I imagined it. With that said, in terms of just having the details in there, I loved it a lot, right? I thought this was really damn good. I thought the voice acting was stellar, music was stellar, all the it looked beautiful with a lot of shots. It was great, right? Now I am curious because it does almost seem like I am by no means saying anything bad, right? I need to be clear. I'm not saying anything bad here. But just because it didn't seem to have some sort of shot in there where I would definitely say like, whoa, right? Like it had a lot of really good shots, but I think there's been consistently like every few episodes, right? There's been a shot in there that has just looked absolutely stellar, right? Or whatever it may be, or like series of shots, right? I am curious if that'll be on the next episode, because I could see a certain reveal having that as a big, like, thing, right? Having that as a big moment with it. I guess we'll have to see, right? That'll be next week. We'll find out then. I did still absurdly enjoy this though, right? This was like fantastic. Love this a lot. My brother's going to get to see this for the first time because obviously he's not at that point in the novel. This is supposed to be at the end, like I mentioned. So he'll get to see this for the first time uh, later, and that'll be absolutely great, right? Oh boy, this was good. I've been waiting so long for this scene, and I am glad that we finally have it because this backstory to me is beautiful. Again, literally my favorite out of the whole series, right? There's a lot of really good ones, right? I think Arc 8 has a really good one in there involving a character I really enjoyed, right? I think Emilia's is fantastic. Beatrice's is fantastic. All this sort of stuff. There's another really damn good one in Arc 6 that I'm excited to also get to, right? Involves a character I really enjoy, right? And technically, in a sense, you could almost argue it is something, I guess, not really explored a little bit because I guess I'm thinking of the other side to the backstory, which doesn't even involve the main person in the backstory. It's just the other. Um, but still, Arc 6 has a fantastic backstory in there as well. Can't wait to get to that. But this is probably my favorite. It is a long ass chapter with just beautiful fucking story. I know that I'm wording it a little oddly here, but like just the depressing sort of intro to it, to the middle ground where it's like Teresia slowly, meeting with Wilhelm and all this sort of stuff. all that sort of shit. Like the two of them meeting together, kind of building that relationship, right? The novel does do a little bit more of that, but again, if they were to do an OVA, we went over this, right? So having that in there as almost a fun little recap, but also including it in the actual main story, and then going with the end of explaining, the last conversation they have into the white whale stuff, and then the I love you at the end. It's like this chapter is so good, and they did it perfectly, right? I would say that this was really damn good, right? It doesn't need to have some crazy animation to be perfect. This is just great, right? This is exactly what I wanted. I'm happy. I'm very happy. I know like Arc 6 is going to have scenes that I'm way happier about technically because it's like, listen, this may be my favorite backstory, but Arc 6 is going to have some stellar scenes that I can't wait for that I'm going to be so fucking excited to see. But still, this is really damn good. Absolutely loved it. And we have two left. We have two episodes left plus the trailer next week. Just for fun, I will actually look up that date right now because I mean, yeah, why not? Honestly, I'm like trying to think of a reason, but I'm like, no, just why not? Why not just search it up? We put Kadokawa in here, and the first thing we get is a lot of previews for the episodes. But what we're trying to get is the actual live stream for when it's going up. So it is the 23rd. We have the 23rd. The 23rd might not actually be next week. It's on Sunday. Okay, that's what it is. So it's next week on Sunday, but not Sunday as in the 16th. Sunday as in the 23rd. So that means the final episode will be out the same week. It's just earlier in that week we will get our trailer. That is exciting. That is very exciting. We will be back in no time then. We will be back like almost immediately in terms of this shit. We'll just be like, oh yeah, okay. Hey guys, we're here with the Arc 6 trailer, and I get to gush about certain details and things I'm excited for, while also avoiding spoilers, of course. And then just same week, we get to talk about, like, we'll not talk about, but react and talk about the final Arc 5 episode. And then I also want to discuss how I feel about the season as a whole, right? Because there is something that I almost wanted to bring up, which I almost noticed in a sense with this episode, as well as previous ones. But there's something that I liked a lot with the previous core, where I think here it was a tiny bit of a strange decision. But we'll get to that when we get to that, right? Regardless of that, though, this is great, and I did really enjoy this a lot. I'm glad I got to watch it on time. I'm glad that I almost fucked up. I mean, not really. I did. I'm not really glad about that. But not even almost. I say almost fucked up like I didn't because it was like an hour prior to when the episode came out and I started recording thinking daylight savings surely affected this. No, it didn't. Still, glad I did. Right, glad I got to sit here and watch it right on time. With that said, I think it's about time we all head out. Right. So take care. Have yourselves a great day, great night, whatever it may be, whatever time you're watching this at. And yeah, we'll be back for next week for essentially, like I guess not the wrap up, but almost a climactic end to things and all that sort of shit. This'll be fun. Might even be the week after. They might even save some of it for the week after. Who knows? I feel like the week after is going to be the actual wrap up though. Regardless, I will see you all then, peeps. Like I said, take care. I hopefully should have the Arc 9 review out technically soon. I'm gonna actually start properly reading it now. I just had to work on some stuff before then, but we'll probably have the next Arc 9 review out soon. So yeah, farewell peeps. Let me hit the button. Farewell peeps.